Welcome back, Fresh Bake, for another episode of the Knothole Gang atop the Mickey and Friends parking structure, looking at the backside of Rise of the Resistance. And look, constructionizers, they're up to something. And the inside that building, they're on their way to go build Star Wars Land or Rise of the Resistance. But yeah, we're checking out this backside again. As you have been following, I've been wanting to know what that area is behind those trees. So I thought I'd start today by going to Google Earth. Look, Google Earth. A lot of folks have said, hey, Dave, you know, you can see Star Wars Land a little bit now from Google Earth because they've updated it. And so that's what we're going to do, get a little closer. And there she is. That's the top side. That's kind of our view from Mickey and Friends, but it's the wrong side. We want to flip this thing around and see what is through those trees that I'm getting just a very narrow glimpse of when we're on the Mickey and Friends parking structure, which you can see back there in the top left corner. That's where I'm standing. I'm standing right there. There I am. Hi. By the way, what's that thing? I don't know. I've never seen that structure before. This is interesting. Anyway, I would like to know what that is. But more importantly, we're going to try to zero in on that area right there. What we're looking at is, as we mentioned in previous weeks, the sort of extended, elongated queue, pedestrian queue or guest queue for Rise of the Resistance, and it's going to be in tunnels. All that's going to be tunnels right there, and that's pretty neat, if you ask me. That they've managed to sort of blend in this queue into the mountainside, which is going to feel like you're inside of a mountain, but it's really not. They built it this way. Let's pull back a little bit. Get a longer view, because see right down here, that's the Hungry Bear, and that's the Hungry Bear path right there, and then that path is going to curl into Galaxy's Edge, and then you're going to enter Rise of the Resistance. That's one of the first things you're going to see if you enter from this side is the queue entrance for Rise of the Resistance. Cool, right? Well, there you go, and we're back, and there's how it looks today. So behind those trees, that white, table or building top down there, that is the extended queue. Really enjoyed that. I think I'd like to do a little more of that in the future. Maybe spend a little more time drilling in. The only problem is that those images are fairly dated. I'm not sure how long they are, but if you go to Google Earth and look at it, there's no Millennium Falcon at all, except that now today it's done, obviously. So I would say a few months at least. But not so old that you can't see what's happening and compare it to where we're at today. So I'm thinking maybe 4 or 5 months. That's about how old that image is. As we cruise the tops of Rise of the Resistance. Guys, it is getting... We're almost there. We're almost to the new year. And we can start doing a really good countdown to the opening of Rise of the Resistance, or opening of Galaxy's Edge, and to the demise of the Disneyland Resort, because some folks are for sure suggesting that Galaxy's Edge may just kill the park. I don't think so, but some do. Namely Ian. And if you saw the smoke, I saw it too. So I just want to take a quick look here to see if I can't zero in on it. And you could a little bit. It's not, I don't think it's in the park. That's as close as I can get. It's isolated down there. It's not a big deal. But I do think it's off-site. But just in case you were wondering. Back to Galaxy's Edge. Probably not going to be a lot of scenery changes here at all. It may even not even be worthwhile to come to the Mickey and Friends parking structure, because there's just not a lot to see, man. And especially during this winter season when it's difficult to get daylight shots, because I can't shoot in the morning because the sun blinds every shot, and I can't film after the park because it's usually too dark because the sun is going down so soon. So we may put a little hiatus on these Mickey and Friends shots for the next month or two, I think. at least until we get a little more daylight at the end of our day. But there has been no change on our views of Galaxy's Edge from the Mark Twain in terms of its viewability. It's still plenty seeable from from the Mark Twain on Rivers of America. Very sunny day on this day that we filmed this. We filmed this very near twilight, so the color, the light is different than what you're normally going to see, which is for the better because this looks fantastic if you ask me. I love filming at this time of day. It is just the best.
As we head into the remote areas of the rivers of America, you're in for a real treat. I've been navigating these parts for years, but I never get tired of taking in the breathtaking beauty of the Columbia River. Just a treat.
Was hoping to get some new information through the trees here. We are picking up more and more detail through the trees than we have before, because before it was just steel. But now that things are getting more finished, we can kind of, you know, locate them on the model and identify them, as we did with that area that's underneath the green covering there. And we're going to find another example later on. A little bit of progress there on that building. Hard to see through the scaffolding too. Not sure what I was looking for here. Something caught my eye that I was trying to see through those trees perhaps, but I'm not sure. There's the arch, by the way, and we're going to look at that in more detail here in a little bit, but that's been a point of interest for me of late in terms of seeing its evolution. But we'll get a better shot of that later and then do a comparison. Right there, see that? That's a dome structure right there that we can see through the trees, and I might try to see if I can't locate that next week. It's right there in front of the shuttle ship. There we go again. Where am I going? Oh, look at that. We caught them bringing in a refrigerator, industrial-sized, Star Wars-sized refrigerator, of course, but a refrigerator nonetheless. I'm just kidding. I know it's not really a refrigerator. I'm trying to be clever. And there it goes. They're installing it. Sub-Zero. That's for all the frozen smugglers that they keep at Jabba's palace. And again here, I'm not trying to focus on the train here. I'm trying to see what is through there. Look at that. I could identify that, I think. There's two things I got to try to find next week on the model. Is whatever that is. And it looks like it's in front of and to the right. Well, it's to the right of the shuttle ship and in front of the Millennium Falcon area, but the back side of those buildings. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to see that. Okay. Here is the arch that I've been observing a lot of lately, and I wanted to... its evolution is fascinating. Let's go back all the way to the first time I saw this. This is before I think we were even able to see things from the Mark Twain. This is from October 28th, 2017, more than a year ago, 14 months ago. And right there, and normally when we're watching them build these structures, it's very angular, right? All the pieces are very angular, and then the mesh gives it its nuance, its character, its odd shape. But this particular thing, it looked like a roller coaster track, and that's what some people thought. I remember people saying, "Is that a roller coaster track that they're putting in there?" I'm like, no, that would be silly. These attractions aren't roller coasters anyway, and they're all indoors. But it looked like a track, and I was very curious about what that was going to wind up being. Forward now to November 11th, 2017, and it's got a little bit more, substance behind it. You're just seeing a little more support. It's a different view. These views, by the way, are going to be from different angles. I just tried to find the best that I could of each one, but we kind of know where they are, right? And then you've got these two peaks or spires starting to evolve around them, or around the archway, and we'll see those develop, in the same time. But yeah, it still has that curvy look to it. And by the way, there's nothing behind it, which adds to the, the mystery of it. Like, at this moment, there's nothing behind it, so there's no context. Forward again now to December 1st of 2017, and while this shot is obscured quite a bit by trees and stuff, you can still see the arch developing. Now, this is from a more forward angle. This is closer to the angle that we just shot from most recently on this Saturday. But you can see it's starting to come through the trees a little bit there. Still nothing behind it. The spires that are being developed have not evolved much on its left either. But a week later, this is just a week later, and now it's starting to close up, right? The arch is starting to close up a little bit. It's taking on more. It's getting fleshed out more. It does still look like a track right there. That still looks like a a roller coaster track. But you can see the areas behind it start to close in a little bit. Now we're into January of 2018, and look at all of the rockwork facade, all the mesh work that's being applied on the areas to its left and to its right, giving it so much more definition and context. Plus the spires are starting to get their definition too, their mesh. It's fascinating, man. This is January of 2018. This is 11 months ago. And then finally, this is February of 2018. Now, it's hard to find now, right? Because of all the scaffolding going around and all the things starting to take shape, that it's losing its singularity. It's not as obvious as it used to be, and now it's blending into the background. But there it is, right there. And I'm only going to show you these older scenes because I just wanted to show you, from where we came. I don't need to show the whole evolution. That's 10 months ago, and then here we are, back today. And look at that. They have made something beautiful out of steel and mesh and paint. It's fantastic. That came from somebody's imagination. I think it should look like this. And so it shall. Thanks for watching, Fresh Baked. I hope you enjoyed this week's update from the Knothole Gang as we return back to port on the rivers of America. Stay tuned, as always, for more from us. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to our channel. And Fresh Baked. Memories and magic are happening